Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Sade. Thank you so much for joining me for our astrology talk. For today, we are going to go ahead and dive into what it means when you have your rising in the sign of Virgo. Now, this can also be called Virgo in the first house or your Virgo Ascendant. So, before I dive into this video, if you have not seen any of my videos, go ahead to my channel, Hidden Alchemy, where you can find tons and tons of videos where you can also learn what it means to have your sun, moon, and rising in a sign, because those are three separate things, as well as what the Virgo archetype signifies in astrology. So let's go ahead and dive into this. If you have Virgo in your first house, then that means that you are a Virgo rising. Now, I really love this rising sign, probably because I'm a Virgo myself. So I really gravitate towards people that have Virgo in the first house and really move from this energy. First things first, because I already know that a Virgo rising person is going to be very tactful and detail oriented. So before we even dive into depth of that, let me just break down Virgo, what it means to be a Virgo and to have that Virgo energy. Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury, so it's all about communication, intelligence, and our ability to process large amounts of information, dissect the information, and be able to regurgitate it back to others in a seamless form and process. Virgo is feminine, so it's about how we internalize the information that we receive around us and really how we take on what we receive and what we think about ourselves based off of what we receive. Whenever you're dealing with the feminine energy, it's more internalization as well as passiveness. Virgo is also mutable, so all about adapting and adjusting to change in any situation, your environment, the people you're around, and etc. This is why people who embody a lot of Virgo energy, especially if you have Virgo in that first house, can really have a lot of anxiousness. And that's just because Virgo is mutable. So it's about adapting and adjusting to changes in your environment and really being able to think quickly on your feet. I will definitely say both Virgo and Gemini, since they're both ruled by Mercury, these are placements and signs that can really help you think quicker on your feet because of being adaptable and adjustable to change. Now, if you have Virgo in that first house, this is how you like to move in the world. This is how you like to portray yourself. And this is how other people view you as well. The first house is so important because it's not only how other people view you and how you feel comfortable moving in the world, but it sets the tone for all 12 of the rest of your houses or all 11 of the rest of your houses. So if you have Virgo in the first house, then that means that you have Libra in the second house, etc. and etc. Now, the challenge with Virgo in the first house is naturally ruled by Aries. Aries is masculine, it's fire, and it's cardinal, so initiating change. Virgo is feminine and it's also mutable and it's earth. So these are people who can enter into the world with looking for problems to solve, right? Aries in the first house naturally wants to look at life as this adventure, taking risk, and really just initiating their willpower and their curiosity. Whereas Virgo is a lot more modest, a lot more humble, and is constantly looking for things to fix and critique. Virgos are really the problem solvers of the zodiac. So that's another reason why I really enjoy this first house placement, is because these are folks who take their work very serious. They love to be in a space of service and working in fields and environments that are healing and helpful for others. However, in that same breath, they are constantly looking for what doesn't fit, what isn't right, what can I critique, what can I do better, instead of kind of feeling as if things are the way they are and just initiating themselves into a new adventure, a new way of being. Virgo can get this anxious energy because they are constantly aware of what's happening around them, and they have this natural gift of discernment to really be able to pinpoint and see what needs to be fixed, what do I need to let go of, and how can I make something better. And that's a really great aspect about this placement. People with Virgo in their first house, they really want to make the lives of other people better by being very efficient in the way that they move and by being in a space of service. This is definitely a space of service if you have Virgo in the first house. I would say Virgo in the first house is going to really embody a lot more of the Virgo characteristics than a Virgo sun. And the reason being is because your first house is how you like to initiate action into the world. And these are folks that like to initiate action into the world through being of service for others. Now, the challenging aspect of that is sometimes these folks can put other people before themselves and can put their work before themselves. Now, contradictory to Aries being in the first house, right? Because that's the first house natural ruler is Aries. Aries is about I. It's about the self. It's about how I like to move, what I want, and my desires. When you put Virgo there, Virgo forgets about themselves and puts other people before themselves, deeming themselves as less worthy and deeming themselves as not good enough for the same service and the same work that they give to other people. So this is something Virgo in the first house folks really have to work on, is realizing that they are just as worthy of all of the work, the service, the healing, and just really being that advocate for other people. They are worthy of the same things that they give to others to give to themselves. And that is definitely something that these folks have to work on, because Leo, which is the sign of regalness, of royalty, of self-worth, is in the 12th house. And the 12th house is the hidden house. It's the things that are hidden from our conscious mind. And because Virgo risings have Leo in that 12th house, they have a hard time of feeling and of having that self-worth within themselves, that ability to express themselves creatively. However, if you are a person who has your moon or your sun in a fire sign, let's say, and then you have Virgo in your first house, you might initiate yourself a little bit differently because you have that fire energy backing you up. But if you are a person that has maybe earth as a moon or a sun, or even air as a moon or a sun sign, definitely a lot more humble with how you project yourself into the world. You don't really like to take center stage. You want other people to take center stage, but yet you are the ones that are doing the work behind the scenes. Virgos are really the busybodies that are clearing things up, making things look precise and perfect, even if they are not the ones that take the center stage credit for the work that they do. These are people who work so hard, and because of Pisces, their opposite sign, sitting in that 7th house of relationships, these are people who can really endlessly give themselves to their partners, their work relationships, or their friends, because they really believe in the act of service and the act of healing. This is the healing sign. Both Virgo and Pisces are the healers as well as the problem solvers of the zodiac. Now, whenever I do my astrology videos, I love to talk about, whenever I do my rising sign videos, I love to touch base on, if your rising is not Aries, you have to go back to where Aries is in your chart to see where your energy begins. The reason being is because Aries is the first sign. So the first sign is where the energy starts. So for people who have Virgo in the first house, your energy actually begins in the 8th house, which is very interesting, and it makes so much sense, because people who have Virgo in the first house can sometimes carry a lot of anxiety as well as fear of problems that haven't arrived but can possibly arrive. And Aries being in your 8th house is the natural house ruler of Scorpio. And the 8th house rules our fear, our phobias, our hidden secrets, sexuality, as well as wealth, debt, and intimacy. So these are people who, if they really tap into that 8th house energy, 8th house is also the house of occult sciences, so studying spirituality. These are people who can really benefit studying and having a deep spiritual practice, learning about occult sciences, as well as tapping into their personal power. 8th house being the ruler of Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Mars, just like Aries. It's all about your personal power. And sometimes people with Virgo in the first house can really struggle with accessing their personal power because of that Leo in the 12th house and because of the humility that Virgo likes to present themselves with, of putting others before themselves, putting their work before themselves. But if they tap into their Aries energy in that 8th house, as well as their sexual power, their Kundalini, sensual energy, especially if you are a female with this Virgo in the first house, you can really tap into that hidden power that can't be seen so that you can be that force in other people's life, because Virgo risings truly are that force in other people's life, but also be that force and that powerhouse in your own life, knowing that you are not the victim and you don't need to be the slave. Virgos can really be a slave to their work and to the service they give to other people. And with tapping into Aries in that 8th house is going to help you access Leo in the 12th house of finding your self-worth through your creative talents, through your musical talents as well, because the 12th house is all about music. It's about healing. It's about the arts and deeply understanding spirituality. These are people who can really have a strong spiritual practice that can allow them to further be these servers and healers of society, but learn to have a lot more boundaries to see when other people are taking advantage of them. Because the 8th house rules secrecy, and it also rules mind games and manipulation, which is very, very big to the Scorpio energy. Scorpio being the ruler of the 8th house. Now, another thing that Virgo risings have to work on is their nervous system. Because Mercury is in that first house with them, they can suffer from a lot of anxiety, like I said earlier in the video. Something that is very important for Virgo risings, again, like I said with that spiritual practice, is the art of meditation. When these folks learn how to control their breath and control all of the thoughts happening in their mind and to really have more grounding, then they will be able to harness that nervous energy, and instead of critiquing and criticizing the tiniest detail around them, they can really be solid forces of service that actually use their groundingness to implement new actions and implement new routines and new rituals, instead of using their anxiety to just kind of be tense and to be nitpicky and to feel unsettled. Virgo rising folks can really struggle with feeling unsettled because they have this strong gift of discernment where they can see what's going on, they can sense what the issue is, they feel like they got to fix it, and they can really just have so many things going on at once in the noggin. So meditation is a really great practice for these folks, as well as their diet. Because Virgo rules your intestines, focusing on your diets is really going to help you to harness your nervous energy. Once your gut health feels really good and you're able to process your foods and receive the nutrients that you need, then your brain health is also going to feel leveled and balanced, because the gut and the brain work together. Hence why Virgo rules the intestines, and it also rules your intellect, your mind. However, all in all, love, love, love this placement. Please let me know if you are a Virgo rising and if this video resonates with you. If it doesn't, would love to hear. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you for our next video, everyone.